Picture this, it's a quiet morning, coffee in hand, and you open your code editor. You start typing, and before you finish your first line, your cursor moves on its own. A perfectly written block of code appears. No syntax errors. No missing semicolons. No. Why isn't this compiling? Breakdowns. For a split second you think, did I just become obsolete? Welcome to the era of GitHub Copilot, your new AI-powered programming partner, and possibly the most talked about revolution in software development today. But here's the burning question. Is this the end of human programmers, or the beginning of something far greater? Let's find out. The truth is, GitHub Copilot was never designed to replace you. It was built to amplify you. Powered by OpenAI's GPT-5 model, yes, the same generation that powers the latest ChatGPT versions, Copilot in 2025 has evolved far beyond simple code autocomplete. It's now a full-fledged coding companion, capable of writing functions, debugging code, generating documentation, and even refactoring your entire module when it senses inefficiency. It's like having a tireless co-developer who works at the speed of light and never complains about coffee breaks. Microsoft and GitHub have positioned Copilot as a pair programmer rather than a replacement programmer. In other words, it's not taking your job. It's taking the boring parts of your job. Copilot writes boilerplate code, suggests algorithms, and helps you navigate unfamiliar languages, freeing you to focus on the parts that matter most: design, logic, and creativity. Developers often describe it as having an assistant who finishes your sentences sometimes brilliantly, sometimes hilariously wrong. And let's be honest, we all need a colleague like that from time to time. How Copilot evolved from helper to autonomous coding agent. Back when Copilot first launched in 2021, it was an exciting but simple idea. Use AI to suggest code as you type. Fast forward to October 2025, and we're living in a completely different world. The latest version, powered by GPT-5, doesn't just suggest, it acts. GitHub has introduced a groundbreaking feature called the Copilot Coding Agent, now available for Copilot Business and Enterprise users. Think of it as a developer assistant that can autonomously perform coding tasks based on assigned goals. For example, you can tell it, fix the authentication bug in user-service.regs, and it will not only locate the issue, but propose a fix, test it, and even update your documentation accordingly. The agent understands context by reading related issues and pull requests, meaning it's aware of your team's workflow and standards. This feature, announced in mid-2025, has changed how teams collaborate, especially in large-scale projects where repetitive bug fixes or small feature additions used to eat up countless hours. This leap didn't happen overnight. GitHub's integration of OpenAI's GPT-5 model allowed the system to better understand logic and context, a crucial step beyond pattern matching or predicting the next line of code. GPT-5's reasoning capabilities help Copilot make more accurate suggestions, understand architectural intent, and occasionally provide insightful alternatives a human might overlook. Here's where things get real. According to GitHub's 2025 Developer Productivity Report, developers using Copilot report up to 55% faster completion rates on common coding tasks and 30% fewer syntax errors during early testing phases. In enterprise environments, those numbers translate into massive cost savings and time efficiency. More than 77,000 enterprises have adopted GitHub Copilot for daily use, with over 20 million active users globally as of October 2025. Developers at Microsoft, Airbnb, and Shopify have publicly shared that Copilot now handles roughly 1/3 of their total code contributions for internal projects, mostly boilerplate and integration work. And yet, human creativity remains at the core. The AI handles the heavy lifting, while human engineers design systems, architect solutions, and make critical decisions. So, are we witnessing AI taking over programming? Not quite. It's more like the arrival of power tools in carpentry. No one stopped being a carpenter. They just started building faster, better, and with fewer splinters. Here's the uncomfortable truth for both sides of the debate. AI like Copilot is astonishingly powerful, but it still lacks something fundamental: understanding. Sure, it can generate beautiful, efficient code, but it doesn't know why the code exists. It doesn't care about your product's purpose, user pain points, or the ethical consequences of a technical decision. That's where humans come in. Programmers aren't just code writers, they're problem solvers, architects, and storytellers. They understand the trade-offs, context, empathy, and the why behind every feature. Even in 2025, Copilot doesn't handle ambiguity or nuance well. Give it a vague task like, make this app more user-friendly, and it'll probably optimize the wrong thing. It's like asking your printer to design your next marketing campaign, technically possible, but emotionally clueless. There's also a creative side to coding that AI simply doesn't grasp. The spark that turns a dry function into an elegant solution. The intuition that says something's off, or the decision to break a rule for the sake of innovation, those instincts are human. Copilot can imitate brilliance, but it can't originate it. With great power comes an inevitable lawsuit or two. The legal debate around GitHub Copilot continues in 2025, particularly concerning the use of open source code for AI training. Critics argue that Copilot sometimes regurgitates snippets of licensed code without proper attribution. GitHub and Microsoft have responded by implementing stricter filters, content attribution systems, and transparency measures. But the debate hasn't disappeared entirely. Another issue involves data privacy and accountability. If Copilot writes a critical piece of infrastructure code that later fails, who's responsible, the AI, the developer, or GitHub? The current legal consensus is simple. The human using the AI is still accountable. Copilot is a tool, not a scapegoat. That said, these ethical debates have pushed the industry towards stronger AI governance standards. In 2025, most enterprise Copilot deployments include audit logs, data usage transparency, and opt-in policies that give developers control over what AI models can access within their repositories. Let's imagine a typical workday for a developer in 2025. You log into your project management dashboard, assign tasks to your AI coding agent, and while it starts handling the boring parts, fixing that long-standing logging bug, cleaning up CSS inconsistencies, or writing unit tests, you move on to designing a new feature that actually excites you. By lunchtime, Copilot notifies you that the fixes are complete and passes a pull request with neatly formatted documentation and test coverage. You review the changes, maybe tweak a few details, and merge. The rest of your afternoon is free for creative problem solving, brainstorming architecture, or mentoring junior developers. That's the new normal. You're still the pilot Copilot, just make sure you fly smoother. Of course, it's not always perfect. Developers have shared hilarious examples of Copilot going off script. In one instance, a user asked Copilot to write a function that checks if a user is cool. The AI proudly responded with def is user cool user return user name dot lower checks Tony. Apparently, Tony is the gold standard of cool in AI land another time. Copilot generated a 50-line function to reverse a string using recursion, nested loops, and comments like, "Trust me, this is efficient." It wasn't. These moments remind us that AI still operates within its training data. It can mimic genius, but it can also mimic nonsense, which is why human oversight remains essential. Looking ahead, the future of software development won't be man versus machine, it'll be man with machine. GitHub Copilot and tools like it are making programming more accessible than ever. Beginners who once struggled with syntax or logic now have an instant mentor guiding them line by line. Meanwhile, experienced developers can offload routine work and focus on innovation. By 2030, experts predict that 80% of developers will regularly collaborate with some form of AI coding assistant. But that doesn't mean fewer programmers, it means better programmers. As AI takes care of the mechanical aspects, human developers will spend more time on strategy, design, and user experience. The definition of programming is evolving from writing code to creating intelligent systems. And that's the real story here. Copilot isn't ending programming. It's transforming it into something more human. GitHub Copilot isn't the end of human programmers. It's a new chapter where humans and AI collaborate, combining speed and precision with creativity and judgment. The best programmers aren't just fast typists. They're thinkers, innovators, and storytellers. Let Copilot handle the repetitive tasks, but never let it write your story. Your imagination, vision, and empathy are irreplaceable. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights on AI and the future of programming, and drop a comment below telling us, do you see AI as your assistant or your competition? I'd love to hear your thoughts.